question and one follow-up question only. Please wait to be acknowledged so we will have order here this afternoon. So we have with us this morning Attorney Israelito Torion and Attorney Martin Delga, as well as other supporters of this petition. So let's begin. Yes, first question. Please direct your questions. Say the name of the person you want to direct the question to.
Yes po. Good morning. Good afternoon na pala. Good afternoon po, Attorney Gopet, Attorney Martin. Red also po kung Manila Times. Ito, kakalabas lang to. Biglang lumabas na yung statement galing sa Makabayan Black. Sabi nila na itong petition ninyo na pinarinig nyo ngayon sa Supreme Court is a desperate legal maneuver, and parang it's a way daw to obstruct justice and to evade accountability. Sabi nga ni Castro na this is a last-ditch effort to escape scrutiny over the millions of confidential funds. And sabi ni Raul Manuel, the Filipino people deserve answers, not legal gymnastics. So, ano pong reaction yung po doon sa kanilang statement po na parang sinasabi daw po it's a delaying tactic and legal gymnastics po?
A'udzu billahi syaitanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Magandang hapon po sa kanilang lahat. Ako po si Attorney Israelito Torion, si Attorney Martin Delga on my left side, si Attorney Luna Acosta who represents the other petitioners, no? And then on my far right is si Boss Dada, who is one of the petitioners here. And then si Coach Oli po is likewise one of the petitioners here. We're all 29 petitioners. As what I have said a while ago, there were other would-be petitioners from Cebu, Dumaguete, from Manila, but we advised them that they will instead file a petition for intervention on the ground that the coordination in the signing of the verification is very difficult, no? Because in the verification process, it is necessary that you should have studied the complaint, assessed the evidences, and you must have personal knowledge of the facts that are cited in the, in the petition, or at the very least, you are personally aware of the attachments or evidences there too, no? Based on authentic records. No? To answer that, no? Actually, this is not a last-ditch legal gymnastics, no, that we interposed by filing this petition. Instead, this is a legitimate attempt on the part of the people in order to stop a constitutionally void as well as defective, procedurally defective and jurisdictionally deficient impeachment complaint that was filed against VP Sara Duterte. No? We would like to emphasize that this is our individual move, collective efforts on the part of us, individual petitioners, and VP Sara has nothing to do with this. And this is our move because we feel that the impeachment complaint really is defective based on three grounds, three principal grounds. Number one, there were three impeachment complaints that were filed on December 2, December 4, as well as December 19 by different individuals. Well, you can say that they are mostly on the left, but the fact remains that there were three, impeachment complaints on December 2, 4, and 19. December 4 complaint was the second complaint, and the endorsement, it was filed by Attorney Nery Colmenares et al. And endorsed by Representative Franz Castro and two others. And why do I have to emphasize this? Because they're the ones now belittling our moves. And why is this important? This is important because if you base it under Article 11, Section 3, Paragraph 2, okay, you will realize that it is mandatory under the 1987 Constitution for the House of Representatives to act right away on any impeachment complaints and accordingly subject it to the order of business within 10 session days and refer it to the proper committee within 3 session days thereafter. Now, if you will likewise read Rule 2
of the, what you call this, House of Representatives on impeachment. It is likewise clearly stated therein that upon receipt of the impeachment complaint, it should be referred to the Speaker by the Secretary General, and the Speaker is mandated by their own rules to have it set in the order of business within 10 session days from receipt, and the Speaker is mandated by their own rules to refer it to the Committee on Justice within 3 days. And what did they do? They never acted on the 3 complaints. And these were filed on December 2, 4, and 9. Never acted. They waited until February 5, no? On the last day of the third House session, third, and what did they do? They fast track. No? We can even characterize it, to borrow the words of Justice Corona, blitzkrieg fashion, the filing of the 4th impeachment complaint, and in just 3 hours, more or less, 215 congressmen allegedly read and verified the thick impeachment complaint that was the 4th one that was already filed. Which brings me to another ground, therefore. No? Why do we say that this is complaints? It's not a matter of discretion. It should have been done. But they never did that. They dilly-dallied, and they waited for the 4th complaint at the last hour before they entertained, in a flash, in a blitzkrieg fashion, this 4th complaint. So if you will base it on Francisco versus House of Representatives, Gutierrez versus House of Representatives, the 4th complaint would have no legal basis anymore. Okay? Second point, the verification requirement. If you will read Article 11 of Section 3 of the 1987 Constitution, if they base it on Section 5, that if they have the one-third vote of the House of Representatives, please read it in the 1987 Constitution, that in case the verified complaint, so meaning, before you talk about trial in the Senate forthwith, you must see to it that there was proper verification, because the law, Constitution requires in case of verified complaint. So we must determine, therefore, as to whether or not there was proper verification that was conducted in vis-a-vis the impeachment complaint as submitted and filed in the Senate. If you will look, this can already been revealed now, if you will look at the impeachment complaint as filed in the Senate, there was even no proper verification. Who signed it? It was only the Secretary General who subscribed it, who stated among others that this was subscribed before him. Is that the proper verification? And besides, even a mathematical computation, 215 congressmen who did not have any idea at all as to what was the subject matter of the caucus as of 10:15, 10:30, 10:45 a.m. And then by 3:15 in the afternoon, they already accordingly added it as additional reference to business. Okay. So they only have 3 hours within which to look at the complaint, verify all the attachments to the complaint. Even if you will, we counted it, they would only have about 1 minute and 2 seconds, no, to finish it all, if we believe them. Now, can you understand anything in 1 minute and 2 seconds? Ang kapal-kapal ng impeachment complaint. Why? Because an impeachment complaint is not a rote process. It is a process which is sacrosanct. Why? Because this is not merely a numbers game. And as a matter of fact, if you will base it in Gutierrez versus House of Representatives, the Supreme Court was in relation with Francisco versus House of Representatives. The Supreme Court was emphatic in saying that this is a sacrosanct process, that the impeachment process should not be only considered as a numbers game to be used by Congress in order to crucify high public officials. No? And then third, there was violation of due process. Why violation of due process? The Vice President was denied prior notice and hearing prior to the filing of the sport complaint. Okay? She was never informed beforehand that this new complaint is going to be filed against him. It is basic in our 1987 Constitution that no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. How much more in an impeachment complaint which would seek a high government official elected by 32,208,417 votes. This is 32 million including our votes, which are going to be discarded, which are going to be marginalized or erased simply because of the unilateral actions of 200 individuals who think that they are above the law. So this is the essence of our petition, and we seek that the Supreme Court would grant us a temporary restraining order, restraining the Senate from acting on the impeachment complaint, and thereafter a preliminary injunction on the ground that doing so would cause grave and irreparable injury upon the people and upon our votes and upon our right as a citizen of this republic, knowing, and as a taxpayer, knowing that as taxpayer, if this impeachment complaint will not be stopped, they would spend millions again just to divert our attention in crucifying the Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines without just cause. So that, in essence, is our complaint.
One last na lang, follow-up na lang. Kasi, ang ine-explain kasi ng mga taga-house kasi is, impeachment is sui generis, one of a kind, and it's bound by its own rules, by its own interpretations, and its own, in lahat. Parang napaka-kakaiba niya, it's unique. How can you explain to the court kasi ang pinupuno kasi nila dapat na nandiyan na nga yung mga signatures it's nakalagay in a separate paper yung mga signatures. Ano iaano sa court na itong mga signatures na to were not verified by individual persons. And are you going to prove po ba yung kumakalat na yung social media o yung mga sinasabi social media na the congressmen were forced or coerced to sign because of the so-called aid na ibibigay sa kanila? Are you going to use that as a justification din sa inyong case? Yun lang po. Thank you.
Dagdag lang ako. Kasi may yung basis ng tanong mo, sir, na yung ginawa daw ngayong umaga, last-ditch desperate move to prevent the impeachment of VP Sara. Tama ba yung pagkarinig ko, sir? Alam mo kung bakit, tinanong ko sa'yo kung bakit tama yung pagkarinig ko? Akala ko ang tinutukoy mo, yung ginawa nila sa House, na kung tinama nila yung ginawa sa House, sang-ayon sa saligang batas, wala po kami rito, hindi kami magpa-file ng petition for certiorari and prohibition. Kasi nga, hindi sinunod yung Constitution. And that's the reason why we need to question is because we, as registered voters who voted for the Vice President, will make our vote inutil. Kasi kung successful yung impeachment na yan, mawawalang silbi yung boto namin. Yun lang po ang masasabi ko doon sa sinasabing desperate. Talagang nakita nyo naman siguro ni Railroad yung proceeding. There was no debate, there was no deliberation. It was just introduced and voted upon. Thank you.
If I may add also, you can characterize the verification process as mass oath-taking probably. No? Why? Because there was simply no time for them to read the complaint because of the thinness of the hour that were given them to even read the complaint. And if you note, the Supreme Court is very clear on this matter that an impeachment is a solemn process, no? Bound by rigid procedural requirements. Why? Because the impeachment process is meant to safeguard, not to subvert our democracy. It is supposedly a weapon of last resort. So if it is a weapon of last resort, it is like a cannon with the biggest, it is like a weapon likened to a last artillery, no? And therefore, if you have to use it, you have to follow the constitutional and procedural safeguards mandated under the 1987 Constitution before you can legally, constitutionally make it happen. In this case, that was not done. We were all in shock simply because of the speed by which the impeachment complaint was filed. There was no proper deliberation. There was no proper discussion. The VP was not even summoned to answer for the alleged allegations, no? For the allegations that she committed as found in the complaint. So there was no due process at all. So we feel that this should be struck down, and while the case is ongoing, we pray that a status ante quo order or a TRO shall be issued so that our petition can be fully studied by the Supreme Court. Otherwise, if this will not be stopped, imagine 32,208,417 votes as against 215 congressmen who did not have the chance to fully read the complaint, understand it, assess any and all evidences attached to the complaint. So we feel that we have to act, and that is why we filed this petition today.
So our next question. Questions from the floor? Okay, we can open the floor for other matters.
Sir, kay Attorney Torian muna. Sir, you're urging the COMELEC to conduct a manual count of the ballot.
Okay.
About that issue lang, sir. Why do you want the COMELEC to do a manual count?
I have to clarify that, but it's very clear in my post that we are urging the COMELEC to conduct a manual count in the precinct level. Then after that, there shall be electronic transmission. And why is that? Because if you read the present law on the matter, that is required by law. Okay? But the problem is that I think COMELEC has no plans in implementing it. And why am I invoking that? No? And convincing the people that let us all convince the COMELEC to do this. Why? Because there is no way for us to verify whether or not your votes are indeed counted properly in these elections. Imagine, if you will just vote and the vote is not even flashed before you and it is not even seen whether or not your votes are counted, how are we going to verify when the votes are canvassed in the Board of Canvassers? What am I proposing is merely the implementation of the law in the precinct level
there shall be reading on the part of the BOC of our votes so that we can tally it. There shall be taras. There will be a record how each candidate fared in each of the precinct. An election return will be, or certificate of election votes would be granted to us, signed by the BEI. And then we will have the opportunity to collate all ERs from all precincts, tally the same, and we will have the necessary data to determine whether or not the results in the Board of Canvassers are really authentic, true, and can be verified. Without this, we would all be at the mercy of the gods that be behind the computer voting that we have now. This is the only way the people should understand that we should have manual counting in the precinct level. After that, the results should be transmitted in accordance with law, in accordance with the automated election system. No? But at the very least, in the precinct level, kailangan count manual yan. Basahin para malaman natin ilan ang boto ni Pastor Apollo Sigibuloy, ilan ang boto ni Hinlo, ilan ang boto ni Attorney Bondo, ilan ang boto ni Attorney Lambino. Malalaman namin. Kasi kung idiretso mo yan, wala tayong mechanism to counter-check. No? So, yun po ang aming sanang hiling sa Commission on Elections. Kasi po, wala kaming basihanan kung yung resulta ba na i-flash nila ay totoo bang resulta yun. Para na rin, wala na rin duda. Wala na rin duda. Kaya we want an honest, free, credible elections po. Yun lang po.
Attorney, still with elections, attorney. Meron pong comment yung isang human rights group po, questioning po yung video naman po ni Pastor Kibuloy po while in jail po, campaigning po. For the record, attorney, meron daw po bang court order or permission po yung video na yun? And can we clarify the matter po? Thank you.
Yes. You see, Pastor Apollo Sigibuloy is still an accused person. And an accused person, the presumption of innocence is still there. And his civil and political rights are intact. It's just that somebody is accusing him of a crime. So therefore, we invoke his rights under the 1987 Constitution, including Mandela rules. No? Nelson Mandela was in prison for more than 30 years, and there is a Mandela rules which actually subscribe and list down all the rights of prisoners, no? And this is now considered as part of our constitutional law. And if you will base it under Article 2 of our 1987 Constitution, Section 2, generally accepted principles of international law are deemed to form part of the law of the land. Now, we filed that motion that he be allowed to be present during media interviews, or in the alternative, at the very least, he should be allowed to tape his messages to the people, to rallies, no? Such as the February 9, February 11, and February 12, no? Events. The prosecution filed a vehement objection. It was discussed, subjected to hearing. Eventually, the court denied our first motion that he personally appear in interviews, okay? But granted our motion that he would tape his messages to his supporters on February 9, February 11, February 13, if my memory serves me right. It was with a court sanction and order granted after a full-blown hearing. Thank you.
Other questions? Yes.
Attorney Galgra, itanong ko na to kasi medyo kahapon nag-blow up kasi ito eh. Yung sinasabing threats ni former President Duterte. Kasi sinabi ni NBI Director Jimmy Santiago na it's only a joke, political rhetoric. Pero nag-file lang kaso kahapon sa DOJ si CIDG Chief Torre. What's your reaction doon sa pag-file ni General Torre ng kaso kay former President Duterte? And do you think po ba the former President needs to be filed a case against dito sa comments niya nung PDP laban proclamation rally?
I actually cannot comment on the complaint filed allegedly yesterday because I have not seen the complaint that was filed, if ever. What I can comment is the remark made by the former president. There was actually an incitement made by the president. Diba? An element of sedition is to incite. It was to incite to laugh. It was a joke. It was not encouraging to disobey authority, constituted authority. It was to encourage the audience to laugh. So yun po ang nangyari doon sa proclamation. I was also there. Kaya nga ang sagot ko doon sa tanong at pinapa-comment ako, sinabi ko lang, ano yung reaction ng mga tao nung narinig nila yung remark ng presidente? Tumawa lahat. At kilala na natin yung presidente. At hindi lang ako, hindi lang kami. I think all of us here and most, if not all of the Filipinos know the president quite well, even as mayor, and then he became president. Ganun na siya magsasalita. So, it makes people laugh. What's wrong with that?
Thank you. Any more questions? Yes.
Just to be very exact, no, insofar as the manual counting is concerned, please check Section 31 of Republic Act 9639. Section 31 actually provides that in reading the individual official ballots during the counting, the chairman, poll clerk, and third member shall provide the watchers and the public an unimpeded view of the ballot being read by the chairman of the election return and the tally board being simultaneously accomplished by the poll clerk and the third member respectively. Note that Republic Act 9639 amended Republic Act 8436. So this is the current law now, Section 31, and what we are actually emphasizing is merely the implementation of that law.
Yes. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Attorney, Saskin Morel of the French News Agency, can you confirm that this is the first legal challenge against the impeachment filed in the Senate?
I'm based in Davao City, actually Davao del Sur to be exact. So I'm near the boondocks, so I do not have any personal knowledge as to whether or not other well-meaning people or individual has initiated a petition for certiorari similar to ours. So as far as I know, this is, I think, the first one, and I know for certain that this is not going to be the last one.
You said that the Vice President has nothing to do with this.
Yes.
How do we describe the group of 29 petitioners?
Well, I would describe them as individuals who all love the Vice President, but that does not necessarily mean that we are being sponsored by Vice President Sara Duterte. We all voted for Vice President Sara Duterte, and as a voter, therefore, who actually voted for her, we are particles of sovereignty which actually, or who chose her as our Vice President, which gives us the requisite legal personality to question any move that would lead to her ouster. Because we voted for her, then it gives us the legal right to question the present move to oust her. And we are likewise citizens of this republic. We are part of the body politic. Any
discomfort, any nuisances, any and all disturbances that may arising out of this move also concerns us. And as taxpayers, we are paying taxes to the government. We also have the requisite legal right as taxpayers to see to it that tax money, such as to be used, the millions of pesos that are going to be used in the trial of VP Sara, we have the right to question that. Because as taxpayers, we have the requisite legal personality to question any and all expenses that are to be incurred by any government entity concerning any move in that regard. No? The mere creation of a prosecution panel, their preparation would entail money. The trial that will be conducted would entail money. So we, therefore, as taxpayers, have the right to be involved and file this petition.
Thank you. Yes. Last question.
Wala sa
We just want to quote, siguro nagtatanong kung bakit kami at hindi si VP Sara. As mentioned, wala siyang role dito. I think she only learned of it belatedly na may ginagawa. That, I'm just assuming because I do not know for a fact. But whatever is the case, we stood here as petitioners, and I would just like to read, insofar as my standing is concerned. The petitioner has voted the Vice President, and such vote will be rendered inutile if the defective impeachment complaint will be given due course. Quote unquote.
Wala sa lang. Kasi nasabi nga yung 32 million na bumoto kay VP. Pero of course, we all know that part of that 32 million came from the Marcos loyalists. And the Marcos loyalists are hell-bent on supporting the impeachment, supporting the House prosecution team and all. Attorney Bobet, Attorney Martin, of course, baka sabihin ng mga Marcos loyalists, hindi naman na kami part ng 32 million na yan. So what can you say to them?
Part of the persons who voted for her are Marcos loyalists, no? Well, that is a matter of speculation, which may also be a fact. But the fact remains and could never be erased is the undeniable fact that she was voted by 32,208,417 souls, individuals. And by being voted with such a huge number of electorates, any move, therefore, to remove her must follow the constitutional safeguards that are there, the legal processes that have to be followed, and not in a blitzkrieg fashion as what we have already fully explained to you. At the very least, the Vice President is the Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines. So therefore, the processes, the strict processes that are supposed to be followed should have been followed. But in this case, they were not followed. Okay. Pakinggan natin si Boss Dada.
Ayun, kasi kami bilang mga content creators and vloggers, meron din kaming responsibility sa mga viewers namin. And marami kami na pina-follow ng daan-daan libong mga Pilipino worldwide, hindi lang dito sa Pilipinas. And lahat sila alalang-alala sa mga nangyayari sa bayan natin. Alam naman natin na ito ay isang gawaing politika. Itong natatamasa ng mga Duterte ngayon ay politika lang. Kasi katulad ng sinasabi natin, itong petition natin na ito, may grounds and nasa batas. So ang gusto lang po natin yung nasa batas, yung nasa tama. Hindi naman namin sinasabing hindi na pwedeng ma-impeach ang mga matataas na posisyon sa gobyerno na impeachable. Pero ang gusto lang namin yung tama. Meron kasing mga grounds kaya namin ini-exhaust yung mga legal remedies na available naman sa atin. So, opinion ng mga galit sa mga Duterte, yung mga sinasabi nila, opinion ng mga Makabayan Bloc, yung kanilang mga sinasabi, personal nila yan, ginagalang natin yan, pero dapat igalang din nila yung opinion ng mga katulad namin na naniniwala na ang 32 million na Pilipino na bumoto mas makapangyarihan kaysa doon sa 250 or 200 plus na mga pumirma dyan sa Kongreso na nagpapanggap na sila ang boses ng mamamayang Pilipino pero sila mismo yung kumikitil sa malayang pagpapahayag ng mga Pilipino. Yun lang po.
Let's hear from Coach Ollie.
Magandang hapon po sa lahat. Bago po ako magkomentaryo patungkol doon, pwede ko po bang sagutin yung tanong ni Sir? Kasi kanina nabanggit ni Sir yung about sa 32 million at yung iba doon ay posibleng nasa kampo ng pula na nagre-represent na pabor sa impeachment. Posible. Pero sa tingin ko, nasa 32 million pa rin yun or maybe above 32 million. Kasi yung part nun, marami na pong nagising na mga solid North or yung mga solid supporters ng Marcos na ngayon ay alam nilang nabudol sila na hindi bumoto kay VP Sara. And ngayon, marami kaming natatanggap na comments and messages na sila ay parte na ngayon na supporters ni VP Sara. So, plus minus yon, I think it is very, very safe to say na it's still 32 million ang supporters ni VP Sara or more than. Doon naman sa tanong na yung side namin, kasi kami po yung, bagamat kami ay hindi abogado, pero kami po yung supporters sa social media. At alam naman natin po, ang kalakaran ngayon, talagang ang tao, maybe more than half, mas nakatutok pa sa social media. So karapatan din natin na yung side naman namin na unconstitutional yung impeachment. No? Kasi nga sabi kanina rin ni Sir na parang last-ditch effort daw. Ang para sa amin, eto, karapatan nila magpasa ng impeachment. Karapatan ng bawat isa, meron tayong karapatan. Kayo, kami, tayong lahat. Ginamit nila yung karapatan nila mag-impeach. In-impeach si VP Sara. Karapatan din namin itong isang pasaporte at pigilan. So sana nirespeto namin kayo, irespetuhin nyo rin kami. Kung yung iba nga na convicted na, nakakapag-hearing pa, siguro kami namang wala namang kaso, pwedeng magsampa para pigilan yung impeachment ni VP Sara.
Hello. Yes. On my part, I signed this petition as a citizen, as a taxpayer, as a lawyer, and a continuous student of law. We did not sign this in our part as government officials or members of the Davao City Council, but because we fully believe that the government should be of laws and not of men. We all know that impeachment is in its heart a political process, but this does not mean that politics should be the main reason why impeachments are filed. So, on my part, I really want to make sure that the law is being followed to the letter and not abused in order to reach whatever ends other people may want for it. So that's my point.
In addition to that, no, maybe you'd like also to read the rules of procedure of the House of Representatives, specifically Rule 2, Section 2. No? You would be surprised of the 19th Congress House Rules on Impeachment. Why? Because under Section 2, Rule 2 of the 19th Congress, I'm a law dean, I'm a law teacher, that's why it's very important for me that their own rules should have been followed. But in this case, they did not even follow their own rules. Because in Section 2, Mode of Initiating Impeachment, it reads, impeachment shall be initiated by the filing and subsequent referral to the Committee on Justice of, number 1, a verified complaint for impeachment filed by any member of the House of Representatives, or a verified complaint by any citizen upon a resolution of endorsement by any member thereof, or a verified complaint or resolution of impeachment filed by at least 1/3 of all the members of the House. So this means that even if you have 1/3 vote, if you follow their own rules, Rule 2, Section 2, that should have been referred first to the Committee on Justice. And then, even Section 3 of the House Rules on Impeachment, it reads also, it is the duty of the Secretary General to immediately refer any complaint to the Speaker of the House. And under the last paragraph of Section 3, the Speaker shall have it included in the order of business within 10 session days from receipt. It shall then be referred to the Committee on Justice within 3 session days thereafter. That's their own rules. Section 3, Rule 2 of the 19th Congress House Rules on Impeachment. So, by reading this, they did not follow their own rules insofar as the 3 first impeachment complaints and even the 4th complaint, because it did not even pass through the Committee on Justice. And then finally, Rule 4, Section 14 of the 19th Congress Rules of Procedure, it even states that the verified complaint shall have specific recitations in the verification. It reads that we, after being sworn in accordance with law, depose and state that we are the complainants in the above entitled complaint, resolution of impeachment, that we have caused the said complaint, resolution to be prepared, and have read the contents thereof, and that the allegations therein are true of our own knowledge and belief on the basis of our reading and appreciation of documents and other records pertinent thereto. Even this was not followed in the impeachment complaint actually filed in the Senate. So we have here a situation where the House of Representatives did not even follow their own rules and rushed in a blitzkrieg fashion the filing of an impeachment complaint against the Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines.
Sir, Bombo Beatriza po ng Bombo Radio Philippines. Ask ko lang, sir, last Friday po may nag-file po ng petition na minamadali na po yung Senate na iproseso itong impeachment case. Do you think, sir, this is a desperate move din po since sabi ng Kongreso, desperate din po ang move na ito na ginagawa nyo? Yan po, sir.
We are not, in the business of belittling anyone, especially me. I respect the right of each and every citizen to do what he thinks is right under the law. It's just that if you compare their petition and our petition, the number itself, mas marami kami. No? So, secondly, if you will read Section 3, Paragraph 4, Article 11 of the 1987 Constitution, kunyari estudyante kita iha, basahin natin. In case the verified complaint or resolution of impeachment is filed by at least 1/3 of all the members of the House, the same shall constitute the articles of impeachment, and trial by the Senate shall forthwith proceed. Yung trial by the Senate shall forthwith proceed, nasa dulo na. So meaning, i-comply mo muna itong in the verified complaint.
So how do we determine whether or not the complaint was verified? You look at the rules of procedure of Congress. And Rule 4, Section 14 thereof states the particular verification requirement that should have been followed. And we also look at Rule 2, Section 2C. It states that it should have passed through the Committee on Justice, which they did not do. And they should have followed Section 3 of Rule 2 of the House Rules, which they also did not follow. So therefore, why should we waste millions of government funds to go through a Senate trial when the House of Representatives did not even meet the requirement of verification? They did not even follow their own rules. So therefore, this complaint should only have one destination. And you know, Iha, where that is? To the waste basket. That is its destination.
Last question.
Sir,
Yes.
follow up ko lang po. Since, yun nga po, nakapag-file na po tayo ng petition, do you think kakatigan po tayo ng Supreme Court sa desisyon na maghain po ng temporary restraining order sa impeachment case ni Vice President Sara Duterte before doon sa tinakdang buwan na June daw po ang magiging process nito sa Senado. So, tingin niyo po ba kakatigan tayo ng Supreme Court?
You know, I am a practicing Muslim and a devout one. I always believe in the power and majesty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything is upon Him, and if He touches the hearts of the 15 Supreme Court justices, and He would convince them that enough is enough, then we might have the probability of winning. But as to certainty, I would not take that away from the Lord, great Almighty, the most beneficent, the most merciful.
Thank you. Let's hear final messages. Can we start from any last words to say before we end today's press call?
As mentioned earlier also, I'll just like to reiterate na before the Senate would hear the complaint, and that is their, by the way, that is their sole prerogative to hear impeachment complaint based on the Constitution. The petitioners in this petition likewise have seen that the petition that was filed was defective. And therefore, we need to raise it up to the Supreme Court to seek relief on a petition which we feel and believe was fatally defective based on constitutional and legal grounds. So, we would, from here on, we would expect that the legal processes in filing petitions will proceed forthwith. Thank you.
Ayun, sa akin naman, bilang isang content creator and blogger, sa mga kababayan natin Pilipino, silence is not an option. Meron kaming responsibilidad sa mga viewers namin at ito yung call of duty namin. Hindi lang po kami batikos ng batikos, gumagalaw din po kami at asahan po ninyo na makikita po ninyo ang Banateros Brothers sa marami pa pong mga petitions in the future. Thank you very much.
Coach Oli, would you like to say a few words?
Boses to ng more than 32 million. At maraming nag-aantay sa mga mangyayari ngayon. At alam naman ng, this is public knowledge, na ang sitwasyon po natin ngayon is all political. Sana po napag-iwanan na tayo ng mga iba't ibang bansa. Sana ang mga politiko natin mag-focus na lang para yung taong ay hindi gutom. At umasenso naman ang mga katulad natin na mga ordinaryong Pilipino. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much. On my part, I would like to say that Davao City is a city of rules. And we follow these rules not because of the Dutertes, but we follow these rules because we know in our hearts that these rules are meant to be followed in order to have a just and humane society. And we hope and pray that the Congress will follow its own rules and that the Supreme Court will see the merits of the case before it. That's all. Thank you.
In Republic versus Sereno, the Supreme Court stated that impeachment is characterized as a sui generis proceeding, right? It is both legal and political. And it may be political in the sense that people have, the senators may not be guided strictly by the rules, but it is also legal such that it requires basic evidentiary rules and due process. The fact that this was filed not in accordance with due process and not in accordance with evidentiary rules and verification requirement compels us to file this petition before the Supreme Court because the Senate, as an impeachment court, only has certain limited powers within the wordings of the Constitution. It has no authority to declare the impeachment complaint as null and void. So it therefore necessitates upon us, ordinary citizens, to file a petition before the Supreme Court in accordance with Article 8, Section 1, expanded certiorari jurisdiction on the part of the Supreme Court to rule and determine whether or not there is grave abuse of discretion amounting to lack or excess of jurisdiction on the part of other branches of the government. So we therefore have to file this so as to declare us void because the Senate has no right, nor power, nor jurisdiction to do that. So thank you very much for your time, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us all.